All right. Enough of that. This thing is right in my eye. And now we're
glitching. We're glitching. And I'm
coming right at me. All right. We're brutally honored today. Is brutally honored, does that work?
Not it.
Okay.
Try one.
I'm gonna roll with it though. We're brutally honored. Here on the Talk of Shame, we have very distinguished professional cornholer, Gabriel Dolen. Young star rising in the cornhole industry. We're very honored by your presence. I'll give him a little hand clap. There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys having
for himself.
I appreciate it.
He's like, hey,
you guys.
He should.
You guys.
Thanks, man.
Got you guys.
Yeah, we're honored to have you on. You know,
I'm happy you finally invited me. It's been like months in the work.
Well, you've been pro for how long now?
I've been pro since I saw my contract middle of September, and then it's officially like October 1st is when they announced like the rosters.
Okay,
the pro roster.
Okay, so like a month or so. Yeah,
a
little over.
Yeah.
Well, we've known Gabe for a while, but I was just waiting until he became a professional in something and brought some value. What's been up? You've been playing a lot of tournaments,
and we've been hitting regionals every Saturday. Me and my pro partner, Jay Dotson.
Shout out Jay Dotson.
Jay Bird. He's a legend in the sport. He's been pro for his 6th year, and he's earned it the entire way there.
Right.
He's
like a vet. He's kind of more of a vet
definitely.
guy. Yeah.
And he's always earned his way in. There's ways you can apply to get in just off your name or whatever.
Right.
He's never gonna have to do that because he's Jay Dotson and
he's the guy.
And he's earned his way in all the way and stuff like that. So he takes a lot of pride in that too. So
good.
He's still at the top of the game.
By the way. Chris, question for Gabe.
Okay.
Off rip.
What's your average? Jeez. Sorry. Let me get that real quick. What you playing professional cornhole now? What's your average week look like? You practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or what? Yeah, what's the schedule?
How many bags?
And
how many bags?
And on the weekends, obviously you're playing.
Yeah.
Because I see it on Facebook all the time.
That's
all the
Facebook,
time.
Yeah.
Yep. We gotta keep people posted, but
of course.
And so I play cornhole probably at least 5 days a week. So I'm either practicing or out of tournament, like a little local blind draw or something at least 5 days a week. Sometimes 7, including practice days.
Mm-hmm.
So anywhere between 5 and 7, but that's what it takes to be a pro and to keep your game up, man. What's coming.
For those that don't know, Gabe still goes to Wilmington College, all of our alma mater.
Yeah,
that's how we met him. Do you practice a lot at school?
Just about to ask that. Yeah.
Like with other students or anything like that, or how do you practice?
Yeah, so this year a lot. I've been practicing. We go to the QRC, the gymnasium, and me and my buddy take our boards. His name is Jacob Thompson. We call him JT, and he's really been putting his nose to the grindstone too with me, and he's helped me out a lot. Just give me something to practice against and stuff, and I think I've made him a lot better too.
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm sure your competition with him kind of brings the best out of him, and vice versa.
He's getting a lot better too, and he would him seeing me go pro and stuff, and seeing how I did it is really
inspired him a little bit
too. Yeah, he wants to do it too, and so but he's got some work to do, and don't we all?
Yeah.
I mean,
never stop improving.
Yeah. I think I was a I was a very
We got a phone call.
Yeah, phone call coming.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Way to be a professional here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's something that doesn't happen very often that I do. Because I came in the cornhole probably I've been playing competitively for 2 years.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often that someone who's playing for so short of time and they make pro
to move in like that. Yeah. So you say you've been playing competitively for 2 years, but you just recently got your pro card.
Yeah.
What were these competitive events that you're kind of talking about? Where were these at? Who was at these events? Things like that.
So So a lot of the events I went to before, and what really like got me to fall in love with it is it's regional events. So they have regionals once a month. Each like club has a regional once a month.
Yeah.
And I really fell in love with like traveling to these tournaments. Some of them are 2 hours away, an hour away, whatever. And I fell in love with like traveling these long distances and stuff like that to compete against like other pros before I even looked at going pro, because I didn't know what was really in the car. I was really in the car.
You're just like, hey, cornhole tournament, I could win some money. That sounds sweet.
Yeah. And then because me and my dad always played in the backyard, we've been playing for a long time and really competitively, and we were always in there competing against each other. And when I really figured out I could really like maybe go pro, I started competing with these pros, these regional events. I was like, wait a second here, like maybe it's something I could do. Like,
and that kind of sparked your interest and your motivation to keep going.
Especially after that first win, I was like, dude, like I'm a very competitive guy. That first one, I was like, I'm in. Like I love it.
Did you get money from that first one, or
yeah, it was probably $200 from the first one.
And not bad. I'll take
Right. It's a very simple game, but it takes so much work and like mental strength to get through an entire day.
No,
like,
I get
it's a gauntlet. Every tournament's a gauntlet.
Because you play,
everyone's so good.
How many matches would you say you play in an average tournament? Not a huge one, not a small one, just average.
So I say like at a regional, you probably play like in singles or double, like one of the events, you probably play anywhere from 6 to 10 games. I mean, it's not even that much if you think about it, but when you're playing against some like really high quality opponents, like these matches can last anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on how long the game is, how close it is. And so it can be a long day at these tournaments, especially playing 2 events.
I get that.
It can be a grind, mentally draining for sure.
Brian, you have a question?
Yeah. So honestly, first question, how's life transitioning from being a football athlete, because you're still an athlete, you're still at Wilmington College? How's the life of not being a football athlete, but still having, something else to look forward to? Because we all know the time commitment that football is at Wilmington.
Yeah, we all play football, and that's where I got to know you guys, and we were teammates for a while, and I guess I get the question a lot, like, do I miss football? And no, I don't.
That's kind of went into the question too.
Yeah, I don't miss football at all. I miss, like, I guess what I would have missed from football if I wasn't playing cornhole, I'd miss the competition of like going into practice every day and really competing against your peers.
Having something to look forward to.
Yeah, because I'm a very competitive person, and I don't know if I could like live without like something to compete in,
something to keep you driving to do better.
Yeah, and this really like picked up my competitive feel, and now I'm getting paid to play cornhole versus going to a D3 college, not on scholarship or anything.
Not getting paid to do anything. You're just sinking in debt.
Literally.
Not wasting your time, but literally spending so much time doing that for no money.
It's basically like you're doing this as a hobby versus like cornhole started out as a hobby where I can make a little bit of money here and there when I won, to now I'm getting paid to do it. Like not just for winning, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm getting paid outside of the tournament winnings and stuff like that. And so it went from a hobby to doing something you love as a hobby to getting paid for it. Like getting paid to do something you really enjoy to do is something that I really admire about what I do now.
And that makes sense that you don't, you say that the competition's probably the biggest thing that you maybe would miss.
Right.
Because like you say, it is a hobby. It's a hobby for us playing football as well.
It is.
And
literally,
none of us had an NFL actual thought that we could go and do that. Some people maybe possibly. Okay, Chris.
How'd that work out? Well, his best friend fell on his head. So
It's just like within reason, though. It's like we all come to a certain point where like this is a hobby. You didn't have to come to that point. You played and you got past that point.
You moved on. You moved on to the next.
Yeah. So that's sweet.
Yep.
Second question.
All right.
So cornhole is definitely a professional sport. You're a professional athlete in a sense. Now, football players, we all did it once again. We practice a lot. We're running all the time. How would you compare yourself truly athletically to like you say professional athlete. Is it professional in the sport or is it true professional athlete? Because you could go out there and there's a 50-year-old dude maybe that you know drinks 30 beers a day and is still sinking them 24/7.
Yeah.
I'll also add something to that. Like people say like, oh, people cheerleading's not a sport or
golf.
I'm not saying
it's not a sport.
I'm
saying to those people that think that like, oh, it's not as it's mentally grueling or it's not physically.
It's like, what do you say to that?
Yeah.
Basically?
So I think like my position, I was a kicker in college and in high school. and it's like it's very like physically draining or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's not as physically draining as being a center or whatever, being a offensive lineman. So I think it's very comparable to like kicking or even golf. Like yes, it is physically taxing, but it's more mentally taxing than anything. So
because there's definitely a lot of thought that goes into every single
literally every
and
single
there's strategy. I'm sure like you can speak a little more to this, but I know there's strategy as to where like your opponent places a bag, then you have to kind of counteract that. It's almost like, I'm not going to strictly compare it to chess, but there is kind of like a comparison in it's a strategy game almost sometimes that you're playing against an opponent and you kind of have to figure your way through those mazes.
Yeah, it is. And I think the biggest difference between an amateur person who just goes to some tournaments now and then and a pro is how it's chess and checkers, really. Like it's like I'm thinking 2 and 3 shots ahead.
Sure.
I'm trying to make my opponent do something so that it sets up my next shot the best it can.
Right. Whereas
they're
one of us
trying to get in the hole.
One of us exactly, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. Where one of us were like, oh, I'm lucky to get it in the hole or get it on the board somewhere.
On the board.
Yes, exactly. And I think kind of what I want to know is so you understand, obviously you pay a little bit of attention to golf, I'm sure. Big golf fans over here, us, but talent differential from PGA to the layman amateur is astronomically wide.
Yes.
From a Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, John Rahm to even a scratch golfer that goes out there and hits par just above, just below. The talent gap is insane.
Yeah.
Would you say, obviously not knowing too much about golf and that talent gap, but would you say it's kind of similar in the cornhole space with because I know you do play in tournaments with amateurs, just people off the street, anyone can come play.
Yeah, so I think the gap isn't as wide because you can go out on a golf course and shoot 80 and that's a good round. But you're still not shooting par.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're
so like
PGA level.
So imagine you take everyone who shoots par and better is about what I think cornhole is. Because like you only have 4 bags. So like how great can you really be
versus 18 holes and 70 some shots.
Yes. Versus like an amateur, like they throw a couple 4-baggers in tournaments and stuff versus
but they're hyped up that they did it.
It's once in a blue moon.
I'm like there's a lot of times where I'm not trying to get all 4 of my bags in the hole. I'm trying to make this harder on my opponent.
Some blockers.
Plays for defense.
I'm not trying to go into the hole on purpose to make their life a little harder.
Yeah.
So I think that is like that's a good comparison between like a par golfer and up to pros.
Sure.
Is
kind of the space that you're working with.
Yes. Okay. That a decent amateur versus a pro. So I think that's a very good comparison there.
Good. Do you have another one?
Yeah. I'm trying to word this. Was there someone that took you under their wing, or someone that you look up to in the cornhole space? Because like obviously us 3 are ignorant to the whole cornhole, like
the truth.
Like
we know you're there, but
outside of
it's turning on the TV, but like obviously if you're going to be on there, I'm going to.
Oh, there's Joe Smith, playing for his straight national.
It's not like people that I know, like LeBron James or like Justin Thomas or something like that. Like,
so I think the person who took me under his wing the most is actually it's crazy enough because he's now my pro partner.
Okay,
so that's what it was like the past probably. Before I went pro, probably the year previous is when I really started to like take it very seriously, and I was in the highest level that an amateur could be, which is the advanced division at the time, and I went all these tournaments, and I was playing against these pros at the advanced level, and Jay Dotson, he won like every single singles event you could imagine. So and I didn't really know him at the time. Like maybe we spoke a couple words, but then when I started battling with him and like having really good games with him, and I ended up beating him once or twice as an amateur.
Right.
That's when it gave me really something to chase. Like,
right.
Then I knew I was like, okay,
there was kind of a barometer for
yeah.
performance that you kind of needed to either match or exceed.
Yeah.
It's like this guy's doing it.
I knew if I wanted to win, I had to beat him.
Right.
And that was the person.
Yep.
And now I beat him a couple times when I was an amateur, and now that and then he asked me to be his pro partner when I became pro. That was a really eye-opening thing. It's like it just helped me. Like I can do this. Like it's just like I'm getting the graces from one of the best local players that I know around from around here. So that's definitely him.
I'm sure it was a confidence boost, seeing Absolutely. This guy perform. Yeah, as you said, the influence that he had in your mind as, this is the point I have to get to.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a huge boost having him come to you and say, hey, let's team up for the double stuff.
Yeah. For the pro. Yeah. For the pro deal.
For the stuff that really matters.
And he's been on TV like multiple times.
Sure.
He runner up for a world championship once or twice.
Nice.
Like this is a guy. Like it's a guy. It's not it's a guy. It's a guy.
Yeah. You got something?
All right. Yeah. So this might be a little off, but think of a couple other sports that kind of relate in certain ways. When you go bowling, they grease the track in certain ways so that like they kind of have to learn, oh, it's greased up in this way. It's greased up in that way. I have to spin this way for that kind of greasing. I know they don't touch the board in a turn like that, but are you getting practice rounds where you're feeling, oh, like, because we play amateur all the time just with each other, we feel, oh, this is a bouncy board, this one the paint is sliding, this one's got a little grippy to it. Are you getting practice on each of the boards you're playing on where you can tell that board's a bouncy one, that one's sliding?
Or I think an addition to his question is there a standard? Is there a standard that every board has to be on for these big events, in terms of glossiness or speed or something
how
like
it's
that.
Bouncing off.
So
because I know the bag matters too.
Sure.
Yeah.
We can get to that.
Yeah. Like I say the boards at most, like the even the as low as regionals and local events like that are ACL like affiliated.
Right.
They all like have to be within specifications. Like they have to be a nice board. They can't be bouncy.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to control how slick or sticky a board is. It's all based on the conditions of like the venue you're at. So like if the air conditioner has been running and it's cooler in the room, the boards can be a lot slicker. And you walk in and you know that you have to adjust to that. But if you walk into a room and it's a little hotter or it's humid, that means the board is going to be a lot stickier. And it really matters that like whoever adjusts more is going to win more.
Sure.
Like that's also level.
So do you get practice?
I was just about to say, do you take that time before like a tournament starts? You're allowed to,
because I know in the PGA, like they have a day where everyone can go out and play every hole, because in kind of to draw that comparison to the PGA again on that tour, you go to all these different venues, much like you do, and they have the greens are different speeds. The fairway grass is a different type of grass. So I think that's kind of comparable.
I think it's not as like it can't vary as much as the PGA can, because there's so many more details.
It's inside and it's a piece of wood.
Right. It's so much. It can only be slick or it can only be really sticky. And you go in there. So usually like tournaments, like let's say this tournament starts at 11. Usually the doors open at 10, or maybe you can go a little bit before. And so I usually show up at 10 o'clock, and then I have an hour to figure out what's going on for today,
right?
And
how the boards are
going to play, and how I need to adjust, or if I need to adjust at all.
For sure.
But
that's good you get that time though, because that was like the main point of the question. Like these bowlers, they get told that it's got the I don't know any of the names, but it's got the Anderson grease or whatever. So like you get to go in there and you get to like test it out a little bit.
So they don't like grease it up or anything.
Well, I know they don't do anything like that. It's just like the idea of the conditions. Like,
right.
You get to test it out. Do you know what it is?
Has there been a moment at a tournament where the conditions have kind of worked against you and you felt like as if you could have done better if the conditions didn't kind of
recently
fight against you?
Recently, actually. So there was this it was a benefit tournament. It was to called a Move for Hunger, and it was just like a charity tournament.
event, yeah.
But they put up a lot of money, like to get people to show up to this event.
Mm.
So I think first place was it's $1,000 for it was a doubles tournament.
Yeah.
It was bring your own partner. You could bring whoever you wanted. And I brought one of my buddies because my pro partner couldn't make it that weekend. This was probably 2 weeks ago too.
Mhm.
And $1,000 for first, 500 for second. So it was a lot of money on the line. And we walked in, and I looked at the board. I decided to look at the boards, and I'm like, I am screwed because the boards are bouncy. Like, it's not an ACL affiliated event, so there's no regulation on what the boards can be and what they are or whatever. So I walk in, and I throw my first bag. Hits the middle of the board, bounces over the hole. I was like, this is gonna be tough.
It's gonna be a fun day.
because and it hurts me having a bouncy board than some of the other people who don't throw as flat of a bag, because I take pride in like throwing a really flat bag. Like, and some people
You're talking about the trajectory.
No, I'm saying like in the air when it's spinning, it's really flat.
Okay.
And there's no like wave or anything like that. So someone who has like a nosedive bag where it hits the board and then it kind of flattens out.
Better,
yeah. So when it hits the board, it's not going to bounce as much because it's like usually a lighter throw.
Yeah.
I throw pretty hard and I throw really flat, so that bounce really affects me a lot more than some other people.
Yeah.
So I think we got fourth that day because
Still did, yeah.
Can't take home any money though. Like we went there to win $1,000. That's the expectation. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, especially when you become a pro and people see that title and stuff, and I expect that out of myself too. So it's not like a unwarranted expectation.
So were you leaving like mad at yourself? Like,
yeah, a little bit.
Pretty upset.
Yeah. It's like there's some bags that I definitely like should have made, regardless of the bouncy boards, because it's a condition everyone has to play on.
Right.
But I knew
it's still an even playing field at the end of the day.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's still even playing field. Everyone's playing on the same boards.
Mm-hmm.
But it sucks. I hate losing and I hate thinking about losing. But who does, right?
Yeah. Right.
Has there been a place like you're at one of these tournaments, or you're somewhere like you thought to yourself, oh, I made it 100%. Like I'm in the biggest tournament with the biggest people, or
I am him.
Yeah, like not even
you're saying like a moment of self-realization and kind of where your feet are
of myself, or something like that.
I think my signature like finish was at his conference tournament. So in the ACL there's 14 conferences, and they're location,
it's geographically based.
And our conference is Ohio and Pennsylvania, which are two states, well, mainly Ohio, but also Pennsylvania. Some players is very like it has a lot of cornhole, very competitive cornhole, and especially Ohio because it's kind of started here, like it almost in this area, especially in the east side of the country. Ohio is a big place for that. So in the conference championship, it was in Cleveland last year. It was in May 17th, I think it was this past year, and I think it was 110 degrees in this building. And there was like 60 boards set up, and like there's 140 people in the advanced division. So and probably 40 of them are pros, or 30 of them are pros. So like I knew like this is this is gonna be legit. This is gonna be a big tournament. And I ended up getting second in that tournament. Going through my bracket, and I had to double dip the person who was in the king seed of my bracket. That's how brackets work, you know what I mean?
It's double elimination.
Double elimination.
Yeah.
And then so there's 4 brackets this tournament. So I had to double dip to get to the final 4. So to meet the other finalists of the other brackets. And of those final 4, I was the only amateur there. So the other 3 like were pretty like well-known players, pro players. And I ended up making it to the finals. I beat my first opponent in that final 4. And then I played Devin Harbaugh, who finished. He was top. I think he was 6th in doubles last year in the entire ACL. And then he was top 15 in singles. He's just an incredible player. And
Jim's younger brother.
A lot.
Jim Harbaugh's his younger brother. Devin Harbaugh.
That is not
Brother,
the case.
he
That is not the case.
Like,
That is not the case.
It's not.
Oh, it's not. No.
I can fact check for you. It's not. I don't know. It might be related somehow, but definitely not his brother. Yeah, he's a stud. And when I lost to him, it was a 21-14. It was a good game.
Right.
And this is the tournament that everyone in our conference who was good was at.
Yeah.
So I did it in front of everybody. And in that day, like I remember having like 40 or 50 people that I had no clue who they were come up to me and say, "Good game," like giving
you kind of got some props.
I got props,
Yeah.
and that was the first time that actually like I really felt like I really did something this time. Like it's a big tournament.
Like I'm doing it
I'm
and
moving.
people are noticing.
Yeah, and this was just in May, and I went pro like 3 or 4 months later out of nowhere. Like really.
It's pretty sweet.
Well, it wasn't out of nowhere. How was it that you turned pro? You went to a tournament for it, didn't you?
Yes. So down at the ACL World Championships. So this is the biggest event of the year.
Yeah.
Every year the Worlds it's like a week-long event. I went down there. I was there for 11 days.
Whew.
So I was down there.
Where's that at?
It was in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Nice.
Nice.
And I went down to the USA Cornhole Championship, which I got invited to through the state. How I finished at my state tournament and stuff like that. And then I stayed.
You had to qualify for it to even get down there.
Yeah, to go to the USA Cornhole Championship. This was a weekend before Worlds actually started. So they really make this like a week-long event, huge thing. Multiple tournaments, like big tournaments. And then ACO Worlds, that's when the pros take down, like this is the last national of the pro season, biggest pro national that there is. And
Super Bowl.
Yeah, literally a Super Bowl. And but I wasn't a pro then, so I couldn't play in there
for that. Yeah.
So at the end of the week, end of 11 days, Sunday, they hold a pro qualifier every year. And this is August 7th is when this was, Sunday. And this was that someone walking in here?
I don't know.
Someone's breaking into the studio. Get the mini bat.
But and then so there was over 800 players who thought they were worthy enough to go pro in this pro qualifier bracket. Yep. And this is something that people look forward to the entire year. And so they're signed up months in advance for this tournament. And I kind of went in last second. I was like, I don't even know if I should go. And actually another pro, Cody Henderson, who I faced, he's also like an OG, like Jay Dotson is. Yep. And he was like, if you don't make it, what's it hurt? Just keep playing football. Like it's fine. It's fine.
Your loss? Yeah.
And you had nothing to lose. Like you might as well just go down and see it, and you can say no even if you make it. Like what's the harm? Yep. So it was like probably a couple weeks before I signed up, I was like, you know what, I'll do it. See what happens. And there was over 800 people like competing for this, like elite players, like thinking they really have a chance to get one of 32 spots out of 800 people. And so
the top 32 in that tournament,
top 32 out of 800 people. So and this is a different format too. So the first round you play 4 games, and if you go 3-1 or 4-0, you make it to the next round. There's like 128 people in the second round. So then it really gets down to everyone in this bracket is freaking good. You have to play 4 more games, and if you go 4-0, you're automatically in. You're a pro. And I think they said it was going to be like 16 players went 4-0 and made it. Yep. And in the last 16 spots, if you went 3-1, you had to go and play in a bracket, single elimination. You have to win 1 or 2 games to get in. Be the last 16. Yeah. So I was one of 32 people to make it out of 800 and some players awesome. at the World Pro Qualifier.
Yeah. So did you go 4-0 or?
I went 4-0 in the first round and 4-0 in the second round. So I went 8-0.
So you just made it
you just got
automatically. Yes. And I was one of 5 people to go 8-0 out of those 800 and some people. Oh, and that is something that like everyone, when someone hears someone went 8-0, they're like, oh shit, like they did it. Like that's how you get a lot of respect.
Sure.
That's probably
it kind of gives you street cred.
Gained you the most street cred. Going 8-0 in the pro qualifier. Yeah. And I think I had to play my last 2 games. So I was 6-0 at this point, and I was thinking I need to go 7-0. And then I had a player who's came from a different cornhole organization. who was a pro over there. So I knew it was gonna be tough. And then I beat him, and he ended up going 3-1, and he made it. He made pro off the 3-1 bracket. Mm-hmm. And then my last game, I beat him as well, and he went 3-1, and he also made pro. So my last two opponents also made pro. So I did not.
It's not like you were beating up on nobody.
Yeah, it's not like I won my last two games 21-0 against some randos. Yeah. It's not the case. They're all really close games.
That's got to feel good that those two guys, their one loss of the tournament probably, or maybe two of
they both went 7-1.
Okay, so their one loss
gotta be a good feeling.
It's gotta be a great feeling. My last two wins were very notable wins. And they also made the pro.
And if you see them in another tournament, you got to have in your mind too, like,
that was the dude.
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I got you.
Sweet. Another question. Sorry, I'm taking everyone's questions, but is there a place you see yourself in 5 years in the cornhole community or outside? Like, I'll also add another point to that is where do you is there a way to branch out in other places? Because I know you have a bag sponsorship. I couldn't think of the word. Bag sponsorship.
Apparel.
Is there other things like that you can work out in 5 years or like? So where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what else can you branch out in?
Okay, so I'll start with the first one. So in 5 years, it's just really hard to tell, especially nowadays, because everything's gotten so damn competitive in this world.
Which is good,
everyone wants their foot in the door. Everyone wants their foot in the door because wouldn't you want to make money playing cornhole? Everyone wants to. And so you have these young kids coming up and they're like, wait, maybe I can do this. I can do it just like me, or just like any other one who's young and really wants to put a lot of time and effort into this.
Right.
So you got people who are also playing 7 days a week to perfect their craft to take my spot.
Right.
And so in 5 years, it might not be my fault at all, but I might not be a pro in 5 years. That's the risk you have to take. That's how competitive it's getting. You have to be able to tell yourself that
you got to keep playing good.
You don't know what it's going to be next year. You don't know.
And before you answer the second part of his question, kind of on your point, you just mentioned how you could lose your card
easily,
which is understandable. But how kind of does that system work? What would have to kind of go into that, year over year for you to lose that status or to keep it from 1 year to the next?
Yeah. So to keep it, the most simple ways is you can make top 50 in doubles in the pro rankings. So there's going to be there's 256 pros, so it's 128 teams. 128 teams. If you make top 50, you're automatically in for next year. You made pro, you requalified for pro. And in singles, last year was top 100, but this year it's going to be somewhere between 32 and 58.
Really?
I think they said.
So
there's going to be at least the top 32, but at minimum the top 58.
Do you think that's going to kind of cause a little more competitiveness because you have to fit inside of that? There's not going to be as many players kind of at the top of that, kind of taking their foot off the gas as the season winds down.
Yes. So players who made top 80 last year, they wouldn't requalify in singles this year.
Right.
And I think it's something that the league is trying to do to put a lot more emphasis on doubles because it's a lot more fun thing to watch.
Sure,
when you're watching two people grind this out against two other people, that's
a team
fun to watch. Yeah,
it's a team.
The team aspect.
It's kind of like that in tennis as well.
Yeah.
You like watching the Venus and Serena playing together.
Exactly.
You like watching them individually. You kind of like watching them do it at the same time.
Those are play doubles too.
Yeah, sure.
Literally in any type of game, watch it, play it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of from you saying that. I think that's kind of because we grew up in team sports, playing team sports, whether it be basketball, baseball, football.
It probably is that. I like to lean on at least one person.
Sure.
At some point in time, it's all right. Well, I just messed
just
up.
Like that team atmosphere of being we can achieve more together than we could alone.
Yeah.
Which is really
Pick
cool
up
that
the slack for me and I'll do it for you.
Yeah. Right. Which is really cool that they're kind of trying to incorporate those values into that.
Absolutely.
League. So
it's just an entertainment value and it's more fun to watch on TV. But back to what we were saying, a couple other ways to get in is either you can make top 24 in the open standings. So an amateur could come in and if he does really good and gets enough points to get in the top 24 in the entire country, he'll make pro. But that's unbelievably hard to do because when you get in that even top 100, it gets really separated by points, by a point here and there.
I'm sure it's very fluctuating week over week.
Yes,
it's crazy.
But thing is, like right now, like there's a lot of people at the top or higher than me who just go to a lot of tournaments and stuff. But at the end, they have a maximum amount of tournaments that count for this. So your top 10 regionals will go to this. But like at the end, everyone's gonna have 10 regionals. So it's just who had the best 10.
Right.
Is what it's going to be.
It's kind of like when you have when you have tests in a class.
Right.
And your professor just says, I'm just taking your 3 best. And there's four tests and you just drop that bottom one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter until later in the season, those open points. Because anybody could have a lot of points right now because people don't have all their events yet.
Sure.
So that's another way to get in. And last year they took an application, so you could literally apply to be pro,
kind of like a job.
Yeah. You literally apply and you give your resume and like why you deserve it. It's weird. You guys both took a drink at the same time.
That was cute.
That was awesome.
We're adorable together.
Yeah. So like you
snuggle tonight.
You give them your resume and they decide if they think you deserve it or not.
What's that resume comprised of? Is that strictly cornhole stats, or is that kind of overall face value of your personal brand and how the ACL can kind of leverage that and use it? So
it gives ACL a lot of freedom to give their judgment. So you can either like it can be anything. Like it can be like it's like, hey, I won worlds and nationals. So like, hey, I had a really high PPR, which is points per round, like on average. You know what I mean? I put a lot of bags in the hole. That means I'm good. Or
no.
Don't look at me like that, Goose. Talk to me, Goose.
It can be whatever the ACL deems. Like they can construct their pro division the way they want it, and sometimes it does rely on social media. Like if someone has a really big social media presence, and this other person's just as good, and they don't. This person's going to grow the ACL.
So there are
like
outside factors.
Yeah, 100% factors.
I think there should be. There does need to be leverageability within that contract, because that's what you guys are at the end of the day is you're contractors. You're not employees in any way. So
we're like it's all in best interest of the ACL, and like they're a business too. They're trying to make money. They're trying to grow this thing
without a doubt.
And social media can help that
for sure.
And but I do think best players should be pro. That's the way I think it. But if they're comparing, like they're both just as good, social media, take social media for sure. Person who has a social media
and there's reasons
grow the sport.
Yes,
but there needs to be a balance with that for sure.
Okay.
What was the second part of your question?
Yeah, we kind of got off track a little bit from your side.
Yeah, is there
with sponsorships and branching out?
Sponsorships, branching out. Is there somewhere like that you the ceiling of, like, I know you have the bag sponsorship. Is there somewhere else you can go, like apparel or stuff like that?
Yeah. So this season I have a bag sponsorship. It's Noble Cornhole. They're
shout out Noble Cornhole.
Yeah, shout out.
You sponsor our show too.
They're a company out of Georgia, and they just make such a high quality bag. And it's someone the owner Bryce Mason reached out to me after I made pro, and I was very happy about that someone reached out to me and expressing that kind of interest in me as a rookie. Right. I haven't gotten that yet. You know what I mean? Yep. And I'm also sponsored by Spark Apparel. Spark Apparel. Yeah, Spark Apparel, baby. Alejandro Sparky, you're my guy. And I'm gonna be representing them at all these tournaments and stuff. They're with jerseys and shorts and hats and whatever. And they make really good stuff too. So
it's awesome.
I give them a look.
Two for one.
Quick plug. But I guess as a rookie, it's just really hard to tell like where you can go because once again, like I might not be here next year. Like it's always that. Like even one of the best players in the world has a chance of not making it next year.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell like where you want it, like where you can take it all.
Yep.
But it's definitely ACL is definitely getting bigger as a brand, and it's going to become more appealing to bigger companies like Nike, Adidas. You might see those creep in 5 years. That might happen. Mm-hmm. And if Nike and Jordan wants to sponsor me, I'd love to.
Come back and look at
right here.
Shameless plug.
Shameless
No
plug.
free shout outs
Yep,
here.
no.
I don't know what he.
Yeah. So it's really hard to tell like where you can go with it. I guess I'm gonna take it 1 year at a time. That's the way you have to take it at that point, especially me being who I am and being a rookie. A lot of these bigger guys are getting paid good money, like more money than they should. Honestly, we're just playing cornhole, but they do spend a lot of time and effort, and they're at the top for a reason. And they're getting paid the big bucks for a reason. So they're doing a really good job with their like longevity in the sport and keeping the
building a good foundation of a brand to where they can be built up on top.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, because that's something that can be played into it too. Go ahead.
So what are we building on here? What's the question that we're gonna?
The question was the drinking, the 50-year-old drinking.
Oh yeah. So the question I asked him was like cornhole, real athletes. It wasn't anything against that, but it was also I feel that cornhole, some men that come to play it or women, whatever, people drink. It's a beer drinking sport. That's how we come to play it.
Beer in the left hand, bag in the other.
That's probably how it started too, and that's how it's mostly played. And for the most part, I really asked Gabe, do you show up with a guy that you're playing against him, and he's like, yeah, I'm 10 beers deep. I may not even be able to stand straight, but I'm gonna sink this bag. Like, does that happen?
Yeah. So like my partner Jay Dawson again, he started out like he's been playing cornhole competitively for like 8 or 9 years or whatever. And he started out like drinking with his boys, and he's like, I'm good at this.
In the backyard, in the garage, just
and
tossing bags.
Then he just really like built on that, like because he still drinks like more than I would want to while playing cornhole. And
if you're
local ones?
Yes. He drinks at nationals too. Like
are you allowed to? Are you allowed to? Does it have to be in a Yeti or?
Yes. When you make it on TV, it has to be in like in a cup.
Because I've seen people with the cups and like that's what they're drinking.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
And like he's my boy, and he drinks a lot when he plays, and I don't drink at all. And it's because
you're not allowed to.
I'm not allowed to. That's reason number one why I don't. But another reason, I don't know if I would be better if I did, because I'm a person that needs to focus, because I've been doing it 2 years
well without it.
Yes.
Why change up?
For sure. And it's something that like I need to be able to focus when I'm throwing my bags, because I would like to think through every shot. And he's a guy that he wants to drink to get rid of his nerves and doesn't want to have to think about it.
Well, and it started that way. You started with a beer in your hand, in your left, thrown with your right. If you're at that point when you started and you were good, why change up? And it's the same thing. Why change up for you?
In Pong, I can't play Pong sober.
No,
of course
I'm terrible at Pong sober, but I'm good at it. Not so.
Sorry, we're gonna keep going to this corner thing. Do you get nervous before events? Like you walk into the thing and you see the 8 cornhole boards set up or anything like that,
or the board. That you said you looked at the board, you saw the pros that were there.
You walk in there and you see who's there. Like, oh, this Joe Schmo is there, and not to discredit anybody like that, but like, do you get nervous?
I'll add this part to it too. You used to be a kicker.
Yes.
Right. Kicking in football, probably one of the most stressful positions and mentally exhausting activities to do on a football field.
Go stress on the field too.
How does that kind of compare? Say you're on because you've been on the televised event. Say you're on a televised event. How does that kind of compare to, say, kicking a tying field goal or go ahead field goal?
So I'll go to like Adam Hissner. I'll start with their question first. Like Adam Hissner, he's a guy that I've played multiple tournaments with. He's once again he's partnered with Cody Henderson, like I mentioned earlier. And he's been playing for probably longer than my partner has, playing for 12 years or so. And he's the guy you see on TV with the hat with the big bill along the entire thing, like the safari hat or whatever. And he has a thermos in his hand the entire time while he's throwing, back to the beer in the left, bag in the right. And he does that, and he's been doing that for years. That's his brand. You know what I mean?
And it's like people have that stuff.
And his signature bag with his company has a hat on it and a thermos on it,
like a silhouette of him.
It's
just an icon of a hat.
It's around his name. It's like Adam Hissner, and it has like a hat on the D, and it has as like the thermos is the eye. Like that's his brand.
Yeah.
And you know like that's it came from the backyard, and it's kind of like staying in that same light. You know what I mean?
If he's been here for 12 years playing professionally, he was a founding father of the sport, probably for professionalism.
Yes.
And he started playing with the thermos in his left, throwing with the right. And he's, like I said, why change up? If he's there with it, that's his brand now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to your question about the kicking thing, and so I think they're very comparable. I think kicking is a little more like taxing. Like you can really get a lot more down on yourself kicking. So let's say you go out and kick a field goal and you miss it, you shank it. You have to go on the sideline and sit for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Think about
that over.
Thinking about it's like I just missed this kick and I might miss the next one.
Yep.
Or do
that's
you get another one?
Or do I get another one? Is the coach gonna have enough faith in me?
Yeah. Do they put the other guy in?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I think that that you have one shot to get this has really helped me like zoom out of like this bag
Bigger
really
picture.
matters. Yes. And I want to hit the big shot, and I want to hit the big airmail and drag to get 5 points instead of just laying up for one. You know what I mean? I want to hit the big shot, and that's kind of helped me like control my nerves better, especially on TV like I was for the college cornhole thing.
Mhm.
And that was a big thing for me too, the validation of I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was on TV, and that's not many people are on TV for anything. You know what I mean? Especially like
let alone
playing
doing something
cornhole.
that you love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do like
And-
that comparison you make
Yes.
too, where you're a kicker and you say, I've got that one chance a game, sometimes, 2, 3, whatever it is,
Yeah.
but your nerves are used to that. And then
Yeah.
you're like, I've got a lot more bags,
Yes.
but I still take each bag as this is,
It really
this is the one.
zoom out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was playing in high school, my coach would always say, take a hit early in the game to kind of get yourself into the flow, kind of
Absolutely.
calm your nerves a little bit. Is there anything kind of comparable to that in the sport of cornhole that kind of lets you get like, do you need an airmail one and feel that sensation to kind of get that going?
There's very comparable, and you hit it right in the head with the airmailing. So so an airmail is like you have to be so precise with this shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you go for one of those early, like when you have the leeway to
You gotta
do it, you're
set
early
up.
in a game.
Yeah.
And let's say I missed this one. It's early in the game. We can recover.
Yep.
And hitting that shot early can give you a lot of confidence later in that game.
Mhm.
So going for that shot early and hitting that shot can give you a big confidence boost.
You want to
Even if
explain
you
to the
miss,
viewers real quick what an airmail?
an airmail is like, so in cornhole you slide a lot of bags in, or you hit the board and slide all the way up in the hole. An airmail is when there's bags in front of the hole and you want to go over and just hit the swish like in basketball. You know what I mean? So
Drop it right in.
Yeah, drop it right in the hole, and it's something you have to be really precise with. And nerves, and hitting that shot with nerves is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, because you could mess up and you could accidentally put one or two of your opponent's bags straight in the hole with yourself.
Exactly.
Either cancel yourself out or even add points for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a very good comparison there. So
Good. We got any more questions, or we want to slide into would you rather?
We can.
I think
I'm good.
as long as Mr.
Well,
Cornhole
Gucci.
Man, it's good.
All right, we're going to end the show with a little segment we like to call Would You Rather? Longtime fans know this segment very well, as it's kind of something we started with, and we're gonna keep with it now. We're like over 3 years into the show.
3.5 years deep. We'll say.
Insane.
we're not playing cornhole.
And then see what I'm saying? And he's making money and we're not. So. Obviously, these jokes or these would you rather questions are all written by our co-writer Gabriel Acosta. Big shout out to you, Gabriel. Thanks
No
for
free shout outs though.
thanks for not coming on. Never mind. So as you know how to play would you rather.
Yep.
You just you hear the two options, you give me an answer, and then you kind of explain yourself a little bit.
I got you.
All right. First one. So would you rather only listen to musicals while you're listening to music at any time? So whether
only
it's
musical.
only musicals if you're working out, driving, cleaning the house, whatever, no matter what it is, or
Go ahead. Say it.
get an instant boner anytime you talk to a girl you would consider attractive.
Oof.
And like this is tapped
Yeah.
in deep into your heart, so you can say whatever you want in your mind. That girl's not attractive. To not get the boner,
but
You're gonna
like
get
down,
like-
it's gonna
like your
happen.
body
Whether
knows.
you can't
Okay.
fight it.
I think I'll go with number 2. Like I'll get a boner whenever
Okay.
I feel something with a girl.
Okay.
Because like I love me some Zach Bryan. Hey, Zach B turns me up. Give me that burn, baby.
And you can't and you can't live without it.
You can't live without it. You can't.
I think I can agree with him. Honestly,
Insta
like
boner.
waistband it.
Yeah, waistband it. Just tuck
Texas
it
tuck.
up. Tuck it up.
I like my.
The Texas tuck, it's called.
Texas tuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
The
thought
old
the Texas tuck was the old through the cheeks and
No.
the back.
Whoa. Texas tuck is when you put it through your belt loop.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not your belt loop. Sorry, not your belt loop.
Egregious.
Waistband.
waistband.
That's what I meant, guys. Jeez.
Yes.
I have to agree as
Yeah,
well.
but I think that's the case because like all those fails, it'd be something that's hilarious. Like something you can
Oopsies.
Sorry, I got
like,
this condition.
I'm just really feeling you, I guess. I don't know. It's something you can play
Sure.
to your advantage if you want.
Exactly. All right, next question.
No, what about you?
Same, I guess.
I
I usually don't.
the original
Yeah.
guy.
I usually don't.
He's an
He has to
animal.
drive home.
No, I don't. It's your car.
That's awkward because I'm not driving home.
I'm not driving either, so we're staying
Speaking
here.
of my car, would you rather
Oh, here we go.
have a car that's on its last legs for the rest of your life?
Exactly.
Yes,
Okay.
but every time you get in it, you have a feeling that it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. But you don't know that,
Yeah.
right? So it's just you. Every time you get in, bless you,
God.
high heaven.
That hurt. Thank you.
He just starts pouring blood out. of his so you're on a car that's always on its last legs, right? Or eat 3 mega trays of brownies in 10 minutes. Like you got to go with that thing, dude. Once again, these are not written by me. I just want to make that bless you again. Make
Thank
that
you.
clear.
3 mega trays of brownies.
Mega tray.
I'm saying,
Or have
I'm thinking
Nine,
this when he
nine
says
by
mega tray.
nine or like
Wait,
11 by
9 by 9
five?
is like this, isn't
okay,
it?
but like what?
No, like 12 by
12?
9, maybe 12 by 9.
Okay.
12 by 9.
12 by 9. We'll say that. Yeah.
3 trays. I don't know if I can finish that in 10 minutes. That's the issue. What if I don't finish it,
You don't.
Then-
God, I'm
God,
sorry.
then I have to roll with Becca. Yeah, because I don't know if I could physically do that.
Alright.
It's like I'm an eater. Don't get me wrong. Like I can eat a lot. I can put a lot down. Like
Hey, wait a minute. I've seen this man
Yeah.
eat Coney dogs at Skyline.
Skyline, throw him down.
Kills them.
Yeah, kill him easily.
Thoughts?
I rolled Becca.
Brownies.
I'm changing my answer because I have to travel a lot.
He's got to
And
make
I
it
have-
to the
I have-
tournaments, bro.
Exactly.
He needs
No,
a
like-
reliable car.
Like
I'm
you
not
get
sponsored
so,
this
so
man.
like you get to everything.
I'm trying to sponsor this, man.
I can spin up.
So you get to everywhere you drive in this
You're just
hypothetical.
terrified that
You just have an intrinsic sense of dread and
Oh.
that your car is going to break down and
Well,
you're going
I already
to
have that, and I hate it. So
I've been living with it for too long.
Okay, that's fair. But like, if I knew I could finish the brownies, and I'd feel like hell afterwards. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But if I could finish, I knew I could finish the
I will
brownies.
sit
I'd go
on
with
the
brownies,
toilet
for
and
sure.
eat them.
It's just
In and out.
yeah, cycle.
Chris,
I'm gonna have to go with the car.
really?
Wow, you're a piece of shit.
Oh,
You don't like brownies?
No, I love brownies, but like obviously I love brownies.
What says that?
I'm going with brownies because I'm sick of worrying about my car.
Yeah, we need a new car for you quickly.
Let's start a GoFundMe.
I'm about to get a bloody nose.
We could.
I am.
Jamie, start a GoFundMe. Oh my God, you're
I'm about to
bleeding.
get a bloody nose. I need some tissues.
Oh
He's
my
got a
god.
bloody nose.
Hey guys, just want to let you know a quick PSA. I love every single one of you, and if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. And if you're not following on Spotify, please follow and give us a. He's talking when I'm trying to shout out our thing. Please give us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts, and please give us.
God, Chris, shut up.
All right. Well, our dear guest got a bloody nose because of the altitude. We're at the top of the house,
Yeah,
and
it's
the
high up here.
altitude sickness just got to him. He just started
Penthouse.
gushing blood. But without further ado, this is Turned the Wrong Way. Christopher. Oh, sorry. It's okay. You don't know any better. You're just a silly boy.
I just don't have any reins.
All right.
You won't let off the fucking reins of this show, so it doesn't matter. You piece of shit.
Hostile.
We're gonna have a conversation off
We
camera.
can't have a conversation, but it's fine. End the goddamn show. I'm so done with this fucking shit.
Any parting words, Brenton?
I love Gabe and Cornhole. I love putting bags in holes.
Me too.
Amen.
I enjoy it.
Nothing better.
I'm one of
Closing
those
words, Chris.
shitty players that
Closing words, Chris.
I love every single one of you. Thank you for subscribing, liking, giving us 5-star.
All right.
Quickly. Go ahead.
Anything to say before? I mean, we were happy to have you, man. It was a great
I
time.
appreciate it. It was fun.
We had a great time.
Anything you want to shout out your social media?
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
shout outs, go for it.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
Rip them off,
hey,
dude.
Shout out segment right here. Follow me on TikTok, ACL Pro G Dolen. Facebook, add me on Facebook, Gabe Dolen. Instagram, dolengabe. Twitter, Dolen_Gabe.
Just like that.
Hey, and shout out to my sponsors, Noble Cornhole,
What?
Spark Apparel.
What?
Spark Apparel, do 10% off. We use code Gabe.
What?
10% off your purchase. I sponsor the Talk of Shame.
On the jersey on ESPN, baby. Check it out. See Cornhole on ESPN coming your way 2023.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight.
What?
We sincerely appreciate your patronage
What?
and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment.
What?
Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.
What?
Good night.